What's good, everybody? I am the SKeLeTrust, and happy birthday to Five Nights at Freddy's. Today, we celebrate 6 years of camera flipping, pizza eating, door closing, audio playing, mask wearing, robot searching, bear hugging, bunny hopping, chicken clucking, plank walking, light flashing, box winding, error fixing, custom nighting, help wanting, special delivering, suit stuffing, brain demolishing, spring lock failing madness. If you guys know me, then you would know that I am a huge, die-hard fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. A lot of other people just saw it as another overhyped game of the decade, but I personally just saw it as something new. You know, it brought something new to the table in terms of horror. While your average horror game consisted of your protagonist confronting the villain in any way he can, and then escaping the villain the best he can. Here, however, the villain is actually the one confronting you, and you're given a bunch of tools to help defend yourself. And since the Five Nights at Freddy's series seems to change this up with every game they do, it just made it ever so intriguing for me to give them a look. Or at least it used to be. The series is sort of driven away from the original computer point-and-click formula that I honestly just love way too much. If you're a returning subscriber from my channel, then you know very well that I play a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. I mean, what can I say? It's like one of my favorite types of games to play. There's just something about multitasking that's just so fun to me. I don't know what it is. It's also because it's like one of the only games my laptop can actually record in consistent FPS at the moment. In any case, Five Nights at Freddy's has always been so fascinating to me. The gameplay, the lore, the scariness. It's all what makes this series so awesome. Since Five Nights at Freddy's gained a massive uprising, there's been spin-offs, novels, books, and even an upcoming film. If it's ever coming out. Well, they keep saying it is being worked on, but they've been doing so for 5 years. At this point in the franchise, just one teaser image will satisfy us fans. Like, come on, Blumhouse. Just give us something. But anyway, that's all besides the point. What we're actually focusing on today is the very first game. The OG. The one that started it all. The one that got several YouTubers famous. That I was unfortunately too late for. And that game is freaking Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, what else would it be? On this date, 6 years ago, Scott changed the world. I'm not even trying to be dramatic with this. No. Scott literally morphed the universe into something new. Lore was being tossed around the internet, and YouTubers like MatPat picked it apart one by one to find answers just to put the story to rest once and for all. And the creepiness of the game itself was no exception, as Let's Players like Markiplier gave themselves views by simply getting their faces chopped off by a pirate's hook. And it wasn't just the series as a whole, it was the games one by one. Countless hoaxes and rumors spread. Is there an animatronic called Sparky the Dog? Is the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 jump scare sound effect saying freedom? Heck, Foxy might even be the good guy. Just look at how he gives you a big ol' hug in that same game. I think all the withered animatronics actually mean that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is actually a sequel rather than a prequel. It's the only way this makes sense. Forget what Scott says. And Five Nights at Freddy's 3, forget it. Let's call it a prequel because given evidence.
Guys, oh my goodness, did you know that in the first Five Nights at Freddy's, there is a hole in the wall that Freddy can just sneak right into and kill you?
Okay, I really gotta stop. You get the point. That's kind of how the fanbase was back in the day. It was always super chaotic, and since the games just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, there was no way that anyone would ever be able to make up their mind about anything. It would just get too convoluted. And once again, I'm getting off topic because that actually was not the case with the first game. Back in the good old days of 2014, nothing was convoluted. All you had to do was look for the clues throughout the building, and there you go, there's your theory. There weren't even any story-based mini-games yet. No different versions of animatronics, no suspected killers, no mangled gender confusion, no. It was just straightforward, scary action with a bit of a murderous story sprinkled on top of it. That's it, that's literally all it was. And honestly, I'd say the golden age of Five Nights at Freddy's is the best age of Five Nights at Freddy's. Because it was back when everything was simpler, you weren't that dedicated to figuring out the lore, you were also just focusing on, well, how good the gameplay was, how scared it made you feel. Before Five Nights at Freddy's, I honestly didn't think anything like that had ever been done before. This game even had a mode where you could customize all the different AIs of the characters you were trying to avoid. How many games before this one could you say have done that? The fact that you had to analyze these characters, learn what they all do, and figure out how to avoid them are what made and still make Five Nights at Freddy's quite an experience today. Now, of course, I'm not going to be spending a super long time talking about the game itself, considering that, first of all, I already have an entire podcast that was dedicated to reviewing the first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games called Freddy Fazbear's Retrospective. If you want to check it out, link in the description below. And second, this is really more of a celebration than an actual review. And I'm just talking about how much I admire the game for the way it is. I mean, without Five Nights at Freddy's, would we really have gotten something like Tattletale, Hello Neighbor, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Granny, Baldi's Basics? I honestly doubt it. Five Nights at Freddy's is basically what got me and a lot of other people hooked into the indie game industry. This is all part of why Scott Cawthon is one of my favorite video game developers of all time. Absolutely no question. He is right up there with Toby Fox and Shigeru Miyamoto for me. The other reasons? Well, he's just an awesome guy in general. Love or hate Five Nights at Freddy's, can you at least admit the effort that Cawthon puts into each of these little games he makes is absolutely phenomenal? I think I've even read a few stories about Scott Cawthon actually collaborating on Five Nights at Freddy's fan-related projects, which is just flat out epic. Although, don't quote me on that. In any case, Scott Cawthon in one way or another has inspired us all. If you guys aren't familiar with Cawthon's backstory, he actually attempted a countless amount of times to get into the video gaming industry, such as the infamous Chipper & Sons Lumber Company. And guess what this man did with the flaws that were in that game? He turned those flaws into something that actually worked. Thus, Five Nights at Freddy's was born. Believe it or not, this was actually his very last attempt at making something in the video game industry before throwing in the towel. Cawthon's story can easily be summarized as don't give up. You will eventually achieve what you are looking for through inevitable trial and error. Remember this, kids. Use your flaws to your advantage. If it worked for Cawthon, who was once a nobody in the video gaming industry, then why would you be an exception? With that being said, Scott Cawthon, I salute you. And I look forward to every one of your new projects. Anyways, I think that's really all I have to say. Five Nights at Freddy's is a great franchise and honestly always has been in my eyes. Don't get me wrong, it's far from perfect. There have definitely been some letdowns, like Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and Special Delivery. At least in my opinion, please take that with a pinch of salt. But I think the series as a whole is overall as good as ever before. And hopefully Funko Pop didn't ruin security breach for us. Nah, Scott's got her back. He always finds a way to make this work. Regardless, thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new here. I make commentaries such as these, let's plays, and other humorous content you might find actually funny or cringeworthy. Depending on your type, everybody's different. And with that being said, happy 6-year anniversary, Five Nights at Freddy's, and to 6 more years of camera flipping, pizza eating, No, I'm not doing that again. Thank you all for watching one more time, and I will see you all next time. Sayonara.